Folks, Tuesday night Bible study in the big city of Hume. Anyway, we're in Genesis chapter 26. So grab your Bibles, take a deep seat, and enjoy and welcome you newcomers. There you go. It's official.
It's pretty pathetic.
It worked. I heard you.
Yeah.
Dave with us?
He's probably shoveling snow.
Might be.
Yeah, they're getting snow for it.
Be glad we're not in Sioux City.
Or Colorado,
Oh, yeah.
they got every 9 inches on it.
Yeah. Denver.
Where it was, but they said, yeah, they showed a picture of it, and there was snow all over Rutherford. I said,
Mm-hmm.
what happens? Right, it happened. Wouldn't let us go back.
You guys be safe out there.
It's always.
Yes.
We had a couple of April, March and April, some really weird snowstorms.
Well, that's supposed to get down to in the 30s tonight.
Yep. right.
High for, I heard 50, well, I said 60 for a high tomorrow.
Yeah.
That also reeks tornadoes where they go like that.
That's tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be a tornado in the cold.
No.
Well, I'm gonna read here, 1 through 5. There was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down unto Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee, for unto thee and unto thy seed, and I will give all thy countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I'll give unto thy seed all this countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Statues.
He did everything he was told to do.
Well, yeah.
Isaac dwelled in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife, lest said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down at the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of surety she is thine wife, and how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done to us? One of the people lightly have lined with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltness upon us.
So Abimelech gave orders to all the people. Anyone who molests this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Isaac planted some crops in that land. In that same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord had blessed him. Go ahead.
The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us. So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gehar and settled there. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them.
So Isaac servant dug in the valley and found a well of running water there, but the herdsmen of Gerar quarried with Isaac. Herdsmen saying, the water is ours. So he called the name of the well Esek, because they quarreled with him. Then they dug another well and they quarreled over that one also. So he called its name Sinneth. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called its name Rehoboth, because he said, for now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. Then he went up from there to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared to him the same night and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. So he built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord, and he pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servant dug a well. Amalek came to him from Gerar and Ashasheth, one of its friends, and Pitchoi, the commander of his army. And Isaac said to them, why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you? But they said, we have certainly seen that the Lord is with you. So we said, let there be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you. 29.
Dave,
Hey, Dave.
could you start at chapter 26, verse 29?
26, 29, okay. Oh, is that what you want me to pick up on?
Please.
Okay, here we go. Genesis chapter 26, verse 29. That you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done to you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord. So he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. In the morning they rose early and exchanged oaths. And Isaac sent them on their way, and they departed from him in peace. That same day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well that they had dug, and said to him, we have found water. Call it Shabai, or Shibah. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he took Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, to be his wife, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah.
There's a lot in there.
Mm-hmm. I thought here a while back we was waiting, I forgot what. Maybe we was just talking about which one. That his wife was his sister when they went to Egypt. His sister.
Oh, yeah, no, Abraham.
Abraham, that's what I thought.
And I just chuckled when we read that, like, really, guy? You don't learn anything from your dad?
Yeah, yeah.
That's just how we are. We're gonna make our own mistakes. Well, the old man didn't know what he was doing. I know how to do it right. No,
Right, he was well blessed.
yes, he was. And if I would have to just say one little sentence to sum up the whole thing, that's what I would say. He was well blessed.
Yeah.
He starts the chapter off with, this is what I'm gonna do for you, like I told your father, I'm gonna promise you. And then he's almost immediately blessed,
Mhm.
hundredfold on everything he's getting. He's blessed so much that people are trying to get him out of the land. You're too good. Then every time they dug a well, I'm gonna fill it, I'm gonna claim it, then you go read another one, and then it's gonna have water. Dude, Yeah. So if you would ever, and this is just my opinion, then I'll just shut up speaking. Need a nation to understand why they need to be blessed by Israel, why they need to help Israel. Read this chapter.
Yeah. But they ain't learned nothing yet.
Of course not. I'm
They're
sure
going to here
knowing
for
where
too
the people
long.
are at, and it's, yeah, eventually they'll get it all figured out,
Mhm.
but literally 100%. This is prophecy, promises fulfilled.
Yeah.
One generation to the next.
Then look at our lives too. If you believe in God and you do what he tells you. I guess,
It ain't gonna be perfect.
well, no, he's gonna throw rocks at you every now and then, see how you handle it.
That's
You
it.
know? It's just a trial. How good is your faith in me? What it boils down to. Like I said, I'm at peace, son. Yeah, I've been up and down, everybody else has too, but he's always came through.
Amen. All right, go get some coffee. Everybody come up. Dave, you want some coffee?
No, I got my water.
We got water
I don't
too.
know if there's more coffee out there.
Oh, there's plenty.
Yeah.
No, I'll get you that.
You got water too, golden hot.
Did I tell you, Don, that my son lost his house at a fire today? Yeah, this morning,
Got a fire?
yeah, lost everything.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, you've been through it.
I've been there. It ain't no fun when you wake up the next day and you look back and say, just thankful I'm alive.
Yeah,
You can do.
that's what I was about to tell him. Your kids are good, or, you know,
Oh, they're good. I mean, they's out there and they're in the hotel, so at least they got a place to stay.
yeah, and they're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just be thankful they're alive.
Yeah. Well, Don, you got anything to say? Either one? Pretty quiet.
Not too much.
Yeah. How come it got quiet when I walked around the corner talking about me, Don?
We were thinking about it.
Yeah.
I can smell it.
My hair started burning.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought I was having hair growing, but no, it's not. Well, Denny, what do you think?
I think this is wonderful. I can see so many applications to today.
Thank you, Denny.
Yeah,
He
I
just
guess-
wants to talk. He just
Yes,
wants to
you're-
talk, Mike. Come on.
Well, about time, I mean,
Let him talk. Let him talk.
yeah.
I guess Denny texted you his answer. Is that why Dave's talking?
Yeah, he's reading it, see?
Did you look at it?
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I just think, when God makes promises, why do we as a human continue to mess those promises up, for lack of a better way to say it? And or go about, there's God's way and then there's not God's way. And we're eventually going to get to the same conclusion, but there's going to be one that is going to be a little more exhausting.
Yeah.
How's that?
Well, like I said, there's God's way, then humans' way, and humans don't work.
But
Trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humans are naturally.
But Jim, you're talking about Sarah and Abraham. In this instance, I don't think that Rebecca would be his wife / sister like Sarah was in the other story. This is a little different then. So he's not really telling too much of a truth there.
Right.
One of the things I think about as we read the chapter and you're going through, God confirms his covenant right off the bat.
Yes.
And then life starts to happen. There's a famine. What are you gonna do in it? So you gotta adjust with it. And so you go on down and then you're blessed with the crops and everything. Then you're told you gotta move away a little bit and you start to move away and need water. So you dig a well and they claim it and now life's creeping back in on you and trying to take away what the Lord has blessed you with, because if there was that much water down there, they would dig their own wells or would have dug them already. So it's apparently pretty hard to find, and God is blessing him even in the digging of the wells greatly. And so they're claiming the water just as fast as they can claim the water.
Yes.
And then you might start to wonder, well, what I'm going to do. And you see that God keeps confirming the covenant
Yes.
Yeah,
in the trials and the things that would come up, just to make sure that God wanted him to know that he was being blessed greatly in all this, and God was watching over him no matter how obnoxious the Philistines got.
Mhm.
yeah, because that hit me. Well, like I said, God was there with him. Dug 3 wells with springs. What's the odds on that?
After getting run away from.
Yeah,
Now, I ain't never dug a well before, but I'm sure it was a little harder back then than it would be today.
yes,
Shovels.
that's right. I've cleaned them out. Just hope there ain't any snakes in there
Yeah.
when they haul you down.
Well, you know, that always changes. See, like, I've been around wells my whole life and each well is different. Like the well in front of my house, it's 20 feet to the water.
Mhm.
And then the water's 7 foot deep. But if you go to my grandmother's house, it might only be 10 feet down to the water.
Yeah.
So I don't know that geographical deal, but that well probably somewhere between 30 feet to even deeper.
Well, you're a carpenter, you probably can't measure anyway.
Most likely, we guess.
Did you measure it twice and cut once or what? How did that work?
Measure twice, cut once, it's still too short.
Still messed up. Yeah. Whole house down, start over.
That's like the well here at the city of Hume got, it's 500 feet deep.
Where's that at?
The water tower, the city well. Before we went on to the water system, it was out of this well, high sulfur. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're 500 feet.
One thing that caught me when I read this, verse 2. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down unto Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of.
Yes.
So everyone's probably going to Egypt. And he said, No, stay. I'm going to bless you. I'm not going to bless you by sending you where everybody else thinks they're going to be blessed. You're going to stick around in the famine. You're going to go. And I might be reading into this. I am, don't worry. The internet will correct me. You're going to where the famine's at. You're going to where it's difficult. And I'm still going to bless you there.
Amen.
100-fold.
Mhm.
And the Philistines weren't known as being nice people all the time. That's why both Abraham and Isaac said their wife, she is my sister.
Yeah,
They didn't have a good reputation. And even though the same names here, I doubt this is the same man. With Abraham and then again with Isaac. Abimelech, I think it's as much a title as it is a,
Right.
don't know. I'm not saying that to be dogmatic. It just seems to be that way.
I was about to say, you'd think Abimelech would learn the first time around.
Yeah, and
Singing Abraham's son, I've seen it before.
You did it twice before. Yeah, what are you doing?
and this is Abraham's son here, so I best be careful.
I wonder how the women felt about that, but their husband wouldn't man up to stand up for them. But hey, you're my sister. Okay.
What was it?
well, they was worried about getting killed. I mean, going to a foreign country. And over there, they whack your heads off.
Yeah, but
Sometimes they still do that today.
Yeah, well,
knowing what's gonna come, if you say it's your sister, well. That's just kind of inviting her out, well, she's free.
yeah.
Which don't make no sense to me is that you're trying to prevent them from taking her, and you're trying to prevent them from taking her and you dying. So you say you're not married.
Yeah,
Well, now you just freed her up, as far as I'm concerned,
Mhm.
like,
That's what Frank,
You're actually,
Yeah.
saying, well, open invitation, basically.
yeah, exactly.
How could you, I don't know how they can live with that, because the teammate, they bring her up here to me,
Yeah,
and you're thinking, oh my gosh.
well,
Snap
was
into-
Sarah,
Well, yeah,
you know, when the king wanted to see her, and that's when he let the cat out of the bag. Now, she's my wife.
I'd let the cat out of the bag,
Yeah,
put him in a tree, no, you can't do that, you're a dead man. Yeah, I don't know, you never know what goes on through someone's mind,
yeah.
like, we got kids, we understand. What are we thinking, kid? God's the same way to us, what were you
Mhm.
thinking? Like, what was running through your mind when you did this? I wasn't thinking. Yeah, it was a fun little world.
Well, and cultures are a lot different. They probably left him alone in that time frame. And I'm not sticking up for what they done, but I'm just taking an idea of the culture at the time. If they were to kill him, then his quote sister would be on her own, no one to help fend for her. I don't know. But a lot of times, like, there's a culture where if there's two brothers, one of them dies, the other one only takes the wife in.
Yeah.
Wife is kind of a deal.
It's not one that we understand very well, and I have no idea exactly in this, but God is put in a position that he's going to watch over the women in this regard and not let the men touch them and thus become guilty. And I'm thinking whether this was the same Abimelech or not, doesn't really matter. He knows what's going on, just like Isaac knew with Abraham. And so he realizes that if nothing else, that the God these people worship is powerful.
Yeah,
And the blessings is showing it, and then the ability to protect them in this hostile environment. If you read later on in the Kings and you see how many of the giants that were played by David's men, there was more than just Goliath. And they're basically of that line of the Philistines, if I understand it correctly. I'm not saying 100% has to be that way, but these were probably some of the giants in the land that the Israeli spies said they look like grasshoppers in their eyes. And so it's probably that way then too. So
Mhm.
there's a certain amount of intimidation that would naturally be there. And yet Isaac inherited Abraham's, the vast part of Abraham's servants and flocks and stuff. And I'm assuming he hadn't changed, didn't seem like he's changed mannerism much. So I'm assuming he has men trained for war also.
Yeah.
So this probably isn't a group that if you're just a city king in here, you're probably not going to make this guy mad if you can keep from it. It's not going to be an easy battle. You're going to know you've been in a fight. And most of the time they tend to want to leave you alone. And so they're trading around the edges a little bit on the side of the Philistines. They're kind of looking and saying, this guy's got a lot. How are we going to handle this? And so I think there's a little concern from them about what they can and what they cannot do. Because I'm sure that when after he dug a couple of them wells, they'd likely went out there and just took all these flocks and all these possessions and just slaughtered them right there on the spot. That's the way most people would have been treated.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized not only that their supreme king or whatever Abimelech was said, leave him alone. So they were trying to avoid a fight, but they were still going to see how much they could get out of him. And they took the wells.
Yeah, the well's been a hard thing to give up after you just got done digging it. And it's water.
Does it?
Now you go dig another one. And another one.
I like verse 16. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. It's being blessed, and it's pretty much what you pointed out. Yeah. You're too blessed.
Yeah.
if there's such a thing, you're too blessed.
We don't want to pick this fight.
We can't handle this. Yeah, interesting.
You know, the one thing that just kind of catches my eye, whenever it talks about going into Egypt, and talks about it back earlier in Genesis, and it talks about in Exodus, it talks about several other parts of the Bible. And there seems to be a general not idea, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyhow, don't go back to Egypt. Whenever we get into the New Testament, really starts talking about whenever you're living in sin, that's like living in Egypt. You're under bondage of that. So whenever you come out of it, you're like crossing the Red Sea. You don't want to cross back into Egypt. It's a very symbolic thing. It's from Genesis all the way to Revelation. Don't go back to Egypt.
Well, this is before Jacob
Yeah.
goes to Egypt, obviously, because Jacob isn't.
Right.
Well, I guess he is, Esau's here, so Jacob's 40 years old also at this time at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
But that was special circumstances and a special direction of God, and the way God got them there, it was obviously God's doing, not man's doing. And I
Right.
think that is the difference, because that's where they built the nation of Israel, was in Egypt.
Mhm.
When we stop and think about it, they came out a nation. And a blessed nation. Anyhow, getting ahead here, we better leave.
In the beginning.
Yeah, we go back there. Genesis 1:1.
Josiah ain't here. I can't say, let's just jump ahead to Revelation.
Three, Dan.
Once we get the Revelation, we're just gonna flip right back over to Genesis. Start all over again. Like when I was in the army doing push-ups, and they were like, I don't care how good you are, we're not stopping until he catches up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just how it is. We're just gonna keep doing it until we all get it 100%. We're not there, and we'll never be there. Yes. Just be thankful we didn't go back and do the 317s. We did make that joke a few times while you were
Yes,
gone.
yes.
Down, just a few times. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's not here.
317, I don't know if you're. 316, talking about.
We're gonna go back and do the 317.
He just jumped on it.
Yeah. You just gotta know it. It's funny in my head. In my head, I'm like hysterical laughing. It's like, yeah. It's an early signs of dementia or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's got numbers.
Yeah, that's it. Just when I'm like that, you just lock me in a room, give me a Bible, and tell me Bible studies in an hour, get prepared. Just tell me that every day, right? Yeah.
So why did they make bitter, not bitter for Isaiah and Rebecca?
What verse you talking about?
Verse 30 or
35.
35. You know, I see the glasses on.
And in my translation, it says, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
The hint there is where it says her name, whatever it is, Beri, the Hittite. The Hittite was not the right group.
Married into the wrong family.
Yes, it was the Hittites were their own. Or big group at that time. Didn't go back to the place where Jacob would get his wives from. Anyhow, there's a. Verse 30, I think it is. Isaac then made a peace for them. They come all that way, they get set up, and they probably quite a few of them. And who gets to provide everything for the feast? Seem a little one-sided.
Yeah, just a little.
Be careful of covenants you make with other people. They can be one-sided. I don't know that this one was, I just was basically a. You leave us alone, we'll leave you alone type thing, but. And it's clear that Isaac was the one that was in control. For the most part.
Well, that time he was pretty much neighboring. That city of, can't think of the name of it right now. Was it Gabar? Where Amalek was. It was Amalek that went over and made that covenant with him.
Yeah, I don't know all the places, I'm not for sure where Beersheba is that they have. From here, I'm assuming it's pretty close to that same or in the same general area,
Right.
and.
Well, it's just pretty much two, what I'm getting at is just two neighbors basically saying, you leave us alone, we leave you alone.
You stay over there and I'll stay over here. I'm sorry, I'm over here chasing rabbits.
Well, I made that kind of deal with my neighbors.
What, you killing yourself? That's
Uh-huh. Yep.
Y'all stay over there.
What's the love neighbor, what do you mean?
I don't like pedophiles.
Oh, for pedophiles?
I can love my neighbor right over there. You stay right over there. Hey, your dad has pointed him out to me a few times. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
We'll change the subject because we're on the internet, the interweb. Yeah. Yeah, he pointed him out. That's a very good question, Denny. I look at that and I think I would have put the chapter break a little further. I would have started 27 at 34. Chapter 27, verse 34, but I didn't get to make the breaks. They didn't consult me.
Yeah. I'd agree, because 34 is the introduction to
Yes,
the feud.
Yep.
Interfamily squabble.
Mhm.
so God is fulfilling his promises. Got a generic / stupid / rhetorical question. Is he still fulfilling his promises today?
Oh, yes. Big.
Promise made to Abram.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
I will bless the nation and I will bless those that bless you. I feel that nations that have formerly blessed Israel, that are now cursing Israel, are being cursed.
Yes,
Well, in the New Testament, it says that we are a part of that number as numerous as the stars in the sky or the grains of sand on a beach, and we are a part of it. And so as the gospel goes out, that's still part of the blessing that was given originally to Abraham. And so, yes, it's still ongoing and it hasn't ceased yet.
Right?
But one day it won't be today anymore, it'll be tomorrow.
Mhm.
Them two big earthquakes that ain't, they're Syria, and they're the ones spewing with Israel too, aren't they?
Yeah.
That we just had,
That in Turkey,
yeah, they've been cursed.
or they're being cursed,
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
being cursed.
We've had quite a few tornadoes and rather strange weather occurrences. Really globally. In Europe, in the United States,
do what now?
we've had some very freakish weather. I say freakish weather, but this is actually the season for tornadoes.
It is.
Like, yeah. But we've all seen, if you haven't seen it, you don't want to look it up, it's horrific. That parade they had in Brazil. Where they had the devil beating up a fake Jesus. In their parade downtown the city. And that place got wiped off with a flood. I don't know the approximate date afterward, but it was pretty soon afterward.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much, right there, of course, I don't watch it, I just seen skits of it, it was, the Emmys. I wanna say they had
Oh, yeah,
devils,
one of the
Oh,
little
yeah.
shows, it
yeah,
does. These little pastors have slowed it down, flashes Satan across the bottom of the thing,
mhm.
yep. It's a sad, pathetic world we live in. I'm glad God's in charge, holding back evil.
Yeah, we're definitely in the midst of a spiritual battle on so many different fronts.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what happens whenever you take, see, I'm the generation that they tried poking that, Big Bang Theory down. And so you got a whole generation that pretty much had to pick a side. And what I say, do you want to believe in Big Bang or do you want to believe in the Bible? And that's how, and we're anywhere from 20 to 40 at this point. 20-year range of, that's how people were taught in school.
We've been slipping down that slope for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the wheel goes around and the spiral comes around, we just, and what we're seeing right now is the further down that line you get, the faster the swirls come around, the faster the wheel moves. And
Well, the whole part about the school part that makes it asinine, we're still on the internet, ain't we?
Mhm.
yeah,
I'll still say it. A friend of mine. He is divorced, sorry to say. But I didn't have nothing going on one Friday afternoon, this has been a while back, and he goes, hey, you wanna go help me pick up my kid down south? I said, sure, so I hopped in the truck and I rode down with him to do the meeting to pick up his son. Well, my son comes in, this boy's known me for years, he goes, oh, Doug, I want to tell you about everything I learned in school, and he was telling me about all these Greek gods and this and that, and me and him just kind of looked at each other like, do you remember learning that in school? Vaguely, maybe was taught about Zeus, but no, they're actually pushing that on kids now. In the school system.
In fact, when he took the Bible out,
Yep.
verse 1 Genesis in the beginning, there you go. God created heaven and the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna push it all right down.
You got anything to say, Dave?
No, just observation that the further we get away from the word, the worse it gets. That's,
Yeah.
you guys are, stating it a different way. It's interesting. I always thought, like you were talking about there, the stories concerning the Greek gods and goddesses. I heard that when I was a kid in school, but I thought of it as a fairy tale.
yes, that's a lot.
And the way that Rome was built upon 7 hills by Remus the fox and all this
Yeah,
other stuff. That's a fairy tale.
yes,
Like I think you were saying, Jim, it seems like it's being taught as fact.
Mhm.
And Don Rice, your son talked about this. It's philosophy when you start talking with people about the beginning, when God spoke the universe into existence, it's impossible for us to do a scientific observation of that. You either believe it or you don't. There's not any in between whatsoever. And it is all tying into another thing, Jim. Some days I'm going to take a course in remembering names. Anyway, when you're talking about verse 16, my eyes, for whatever reason, went over to 28, where it enhances. I said, we see here plainly that the Lord has been with you.
Yep.
And it just in the Bible, it over and over and over again, how God is there helping us.
Mhm.
And it's refreshing and a breath of fresh air to me. That's what I'm observing.
Yeah.
well, the thing is that we often look at today, we have so much in the theological level. We do this and we're going to change the culture. How much of the culture did Abraham and Isaac change? And the answer is not much. They got by, they got respected enough to get by, but that's about it. Did they change their gods? Did they start worshiping the Lord? Did they straighten